Boom, 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 boom. With copyright, probably. Anyway.
Yeah,
what is up, y'all? Welcome to episode 25 of the Restored Geeks Podcast. My name is Tristan.
I'm Chandler.
And our other friend here isn't here because he's working right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Is he working?
Yeah,
is it? Okay.
that's the reason he's texting.
Make sure. Yeah. He's an employed loser, even though we are also employed as well. So, anyway, let's get into it. So, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Analysis from a Christian perspective. That's what's coming up for the main topic of this one. But first, before we do that, we're going to get to the geek news and what we've been getting into in Geekdom. So, starting off with gaming. What about you, Chandler? What have you been playing in gaming this week?
I have gamed maybe an hour during the week.
Nice.
But I played a little bit of Phocopia, which I still recommend. It's a bit smaller than I was anticipating, but I do recommend.
Yeah.
And then I played WoW Midnight, which I'm currently grinding right now.
Nice. Awesome. Is that a new expansion to WoW?
Yes.
Awesome.
I also recommend it, but I also don't recommend it because it will eat your life away.
Yeah, I mean, such as MMORPGs.
Yeah.
For me, it's been Resident Evil 4 Remake. I played a little bit more of it, and then also played some Metroid Prime 2. Yeah, it's been quite a busy week for us, so we don't have much in the news topics this week. But, I've been playing those. Resident Evil 4 because 9 just made me want to go play it, and then,
Where you at?
I am getting to Del Lago.
Yeah, you're a little ahead of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I just got to El Gigante's arena for the first time.
Okay, I was about to
Which
say.
means you don't fight him the first time,
Yeah.
you go through it.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say that you did fight him. I was like, that's after Del Lago.
Yeah, no, I'm heading down to the dock. So,
Yeah, okay.
Which, then I have to go get the gas can and all that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And Metroid Prime 2 because I am coming out with this video is probably going to be long. The complete, autopsy of the Metroid Prime series. Mostly to build up to showing how much of a pathetic disappointment that 4 is.
You're going to get 90% autopsy of the series, and the reason we call it autopsy is you're going to see the murder weapon for the last 10% that is Metroid Prime 4.
Well, I mean, it's a whole, thing on YouTube of, dissecting an entire
I was just making the joke because I can bet we may get a Metroid Prime 5 because they're going to consider 4 a success, but after 5, I doubt we're going to get another one.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because there is a group of people who consider 4 to be, amazing, because of course there is. However, I believe
are we in the age of member berries? Well, I don't even have to, you don't have to answer that. We are in the age of member berries.
Yeah, I think it's a pathetic disappointment. It's not bad, but it's very simplistic. It's like a flanderized version of 4.
It's not Gollum or PS5 King Kong.
Yeah.
It's not like those, but honestly, I prefer games like those over insulting games like 4.
Yeah, over games that could have been great but are not. A very lazy, shoehorned in entry.
Yes.
So, yeah. But that'll come out. That'll probably be my big video of the year. So
yeah.
Anyway, gaming news. We don't really have much because we've been very busy this week. But yeah, you can go ahead and do yours.
This I learned about a couple days ago, and it's a hot topic. A game coming out called Pikmin. At first, it looked like a clone of Power World, but it's even worse than that. We have, and allegedly, they look like stolen assets. I can't prove that they are, and I'm not going to because I don't care. But the main character looks like Link. We have Pokemon that seem to be stolen from Pokemon. We have Power World entities looking like, and apparently there's even Overwatch assets that seem to be in this game. Mm-hmm. It seems to be nothing but asset after asset, and to me, I really feel like this is lawsuit bait. This can't be real.
Yeah.
You even catch the Pokemon by throwing cards at them.
Nice.
And you catch them as the card.
Nice.
Nintendo's lawyers are
like, please come out with this. Please.
It's like release it.
It's just like a lot of the trolls online waiting for GTA 6 to have a pride parade in it.
Oh, that is going to be hilarious.
They are sitting there like, do it.
If you thought crucifying Koroks was bad, why would you put the pride parade flag or anything like that in GTA?
Yes. Watch, they'll make them invincible. They'll put like invisible walls.
And it'll take, I would say, less than a day before somebody removes it.
Probably. In a mod. It'll be best to not put them in because unless you want to have some, so it'll be hilarious to us that don't like care, but like.
Now, it'll be hilarious to us in two ways. It'll be hilarious watching it. It'll be hilarious watching the left scream and cry when people start killing their people.
Yeah.
In game. I don't agree with killing any certain group of people in game, so please don't put them in there.
Yeah, don't put them in there. The crucifying Korokses was wild.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild. No, not Breath of the Wild. Tears of the
Kingdom.
Or just launching them like across the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Giving us the option to pick them up and put them on things was a mistake.
Mm-hmm. What were we talking about?
Pikmin. Lawsuit bait. Good luck.
Yeah, you're going to give Nintendo an actual lawsuit if you keep trolling like this.
Yeah, no, this one Nintendo would probably win.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
This will be trolling backfiring. Like, chill out with this.
Yeah, and you would cause major damage to the game industry if they won.
Yeah.
So don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
All right, so that's all we got for the gaming this week. We'll now move on to movies. Talk about the movies that we've seen this week. None. For me, what about you, Chandler?
I haven't finished it, but I started Nuremberg, but then I went to bed.
Oh, cool. So you haven't. Yeah. What do you think about that one? So
it's good. So
is it?
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know the historical the actual. I don't know the history of that. So is it like historically accurate so far?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. Probably have to do the research.
Yeah, I would have to do research outside after the movie.
Yeah, that came out last year, didn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
I was trying to think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thus, with that being said, we'll move on to movie news, which I have one. The Bride has become one of the biggest flops ever in Hollywood, in recent Hollywood history. It was $90 million to make, and it has made a whopping 15-some million in worldwide box office. Meaning that it has lost the company, which I think is Warner Brothers. I might be wrong on that. It has made them lose all kinds of money, like a lot of money. And yeah, good, because this movie is awful. I have not seen it. I do not plan to see it, and I do. From everything that I've heard about it, I do not recommend it. No, because it is. I mean, even from with lack of a better word, it is an evil movie. Yes, it is. We saw the trailer to it when we went to go see Iron Lung. And even from the trailer, I rolled my eyes and was like, this is probably going to be one of those, like, the humans are the evil ones all along and the monsters are misunderstood. And that's kind of what we got, except no, this movie is literally saying the monsters are the monsters and they deserve that they kill people and they should kill people because the people deserve it and all that. It's bad. It's a redo of Frankenstein, and where it takes place in like 1930s Chicago, where Mary Shelley, the ghost of Mary Shelley, is takes the body of a prostitute.
So we're not just desecrating her writing, we're desecrating her.
Yes, I don't know. She takes the body of a prostitute and then gets that prostitute killed. The prostitute gets reanimated as the Frankenstein's bride and goes around continuing to kill people. With Mary Shelley still like it's awful. It's terrible. Mary Shelley is rolling in her grave. Like how do you sleep at night desecrating her memory? How did this get past anybody in the writing room? How did somebody read the script and be like, no?
How did they not read the script and be like, no?
Yeah, exactly.
is bad.
So the whole thing is like, this is the story Mary Shelley actually wanted to tell, but the patriarchy wouldn't let her tell her. Which means that you have not actually read the history of Mary Shelley.
Writer said she was trying to write a women empowerment movie. The women didn't show up. The demographic that
they did not show up to watch this
to make fun of it.
Yeah.
And to those men that showed up to make fun of it, stop.
Yeah. It still flopped hard.
I know, but start, guys, use your brains and argue with your wallets.
Exactly, yes. The women did. But yeah, Mary Shelley was not bogged down by the patriarchy back in the 1800s when she wrote Frankenstein. Frankenstein... Frankenstein itself was a subversive, revolutionary,
it was.
Story.
She did have some, as far as I remember in history class, she did have some trouble with the book's publishing because they didn't like that she was a woman.
Yeah, she came out with multiple versions. To get past that.
It wasn't this what they're trying to make it out to be.
Yeah. Yeah, she came out with one, the original was 1818. I think she came out with the second edition in 1820, and then the third one in 1830. The 1830 one is the main one that people pick up when you when you go to buy the Mary Shelley.
It's a great book.
Yeah. But it was revolutionary for its time in the way that its themes and the allegories that it had critiqued a lot of society back then and scientific advancements and all that.
Yeah.
So, we need to do a podcast soon on just the story of Frankenstein itself, because there's a lot really good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we'll probably do that specifically with possibly the 2025 movie, because that's a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Yeah, and fun fact, the bride is never in Mary Shelley's version. The bride is a Hollywood the bride of Frankenstein is a made up Hollywood thing. I think it wasn't it made up by what's his name? He does horror movies a lot. He did kids horror movies.
Oh, I have no idea what you're...
He's famous. He made the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. What was his name?
No, Tim Burton didn't make that up, no.
Well, he made The Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, no, this was made up back in daggone 50s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was made up back in the 50s. It was never in Mary Shelley's story of Frankenstein.
Oh,
right. Of it.
Well, I know that. Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, I do not recommend it. It flopped good. Let it burn. Hopefully, this will send a message to this will either send a message to them that they should stop doing this crap, or they're going to further go into their echo chambers as they've been doing for a lot of this and be like, no, it's the audience's fault. They're just sexist.
No, don't lie.
Misogynistic, and they just don't like women.
Don't continue to lie to yourselves, people. The movie flopped.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's evil. It does not do women any favors at all. This kind of story that they're oppressed, so therefore it justifies them being a just murderous wench.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, that's the only movie news I had for this week. We'll now move into TV shows. I'll start with me. I've been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because Part 7's coming out this week, which I'm probably not going to get to because I'm still in Part 3, because Part 3 is 40-some episodes. So, yeah. And then you have... Yeah, that's about it. That's about all.
You have? Yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, I don't know why you said it. I, too, have been watching JoJo's.
Yay!
But I'm in Part 2. I'm even further behind.
Yes.
But I've also never seen it, so I'm trying to...
Well, you've seen Part 1, right?
Yeah, I've actually seen Part 2. I remembered nothing.
Yeah, except that Cars gets blasted
out
of space.
Well, I also only remember that because I watched a video on worst fates imaginable.
Oh, yeah.
Cars was one of them, because just being frozen, conscious, unable to die, floating out in space with a very minuscule chance that you will ever hit something and be unfrozen.
Exactly, yeah. Now, that video must have came out before Part 5 came out, because the villain to that suffers an even worse fate, in my opinion. I'm not going to spoil what that is, though, but on here. No, one of my favorite episodes of JoJo, though, is in Part 3, where there's a guy whose stand is about gambling, and if the person loses, he takes their soul. And Jotaro bluffs this guy so hard that he has almost a stroke and goes insane. Because Jotaro is dealt a hand. He doesn't look at his hand. and he starts kind of like doing like almost like all in stuff, and he's like, I'll throw in my soul, I'll throw in his soul, I'll throw in my mother's soul. I don't even gotta look at my cards. The villain that he's fighting against, he's got 4 kings, so there's barely anything that's gonna beat him on that. But he has no idea what Jotaro's has. So he's like, are you serious? You're doing all of this, and are you that confident? And then Jotaro says yes, and he goes, and if I win, you have to tell me the secret to Dio's stand. And Dio at this point is kind of like Muzan, where if
he survives past 3,
he's resurrected in 3. Yeah.
No, he survives past 3.
No, this is in part 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dio is kind of like Muzan, where like with Muzan and Demon Slayer, if they say his name, Muzan kills them. Here, if they say anything about Dio's stand, Dio kills him. So the guy like freaks out and he starts like going nuts, and he goes so insane that he basically the whole game is just forfeited, and Jotaro just wins by default. And it turns out Jotaro had nothing in his hand. His hand was terrible. And it's a ridiculous and
there's some
fun episode.
There's some cringy parts in it, like JoJo literally, he's saying let's dance and then literally starts dancing.
Yeah, yes.
In front of the dude. But the one part that made me laugh was the black guy. He goes, okay, so what are we gonna do? And then he's like, don't worry, I have a plan. You see him in there? You see what he doesn't have? And then the guy goes, no. And he's like, legs, man. He don't have legs.
Yep.
But do you see what I have?
Legs.
He's like, you're going to do something with your legs? Yes. Run away. He just starts running.
Yep. Yeah, I put the show in the same category as like Fast and the Furious. It knows how stupid it is, and it leans into it, which makes it like fun to watch.
Yeah.
What's not fun to watch is a show that tries to take itself seriously but is stupid. Like that's a failure on the writing part. On the author's part at that point. Well, yeah, fun show.
I will say the writer seems to have some weird attraction to dudes sticking their fingers in people's mouths, but...
Well, that and bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Every character does a bodybuilding pose when they, like, speak and do stuff in this show. And fashion. He has a really, really obsession with fashion.
Oh, I know. I saw the, like... pink-haired dude where his hair comes out like this and then straight up. It's in 3.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, for me, it's been the one that we're going to be talking about for the main episode this week.
Yep, same.
Main topic this week, yeah.
Literally the same.
Yeah. And, but before we get into that, get into TV show news, which the one that I have is that Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is considered a staple in TV show history because of how popular it was back in like the late 90s and early 2000s, it was getting a reboot. And the woman who was rebooting it was the one who made The Eternals.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So a lot of fans of the original Buffy were not happy with that. Well, it's been canceled.
Good.
So, yeah, the potential of its legacy being absolutely shat on is now null and void.
Now I need Rings of Power to be canceled, please.
Yes, that's not going to be canceled.
And then I need the Harry Potter show to be canceled.
That's not going to be canceled either. But this means that she submitted the pilot episode, because I read that it was just the pilot that was made, the first episode, and that means she submitted it to like Netflix or something, or whoever she submitted it to, and they said no.
Good.
How bad was it?
I don't know. Every single one of these platforms has a terrible show on it.
Yes.
So I don't know how bad it could have been.
Yes. The thing about it, if it was Netflix usually like throws whatever at the wall.
Yeah.
It just sees what sticks. So it had to be uber bad for them to be like no. But yeah, rejoice, because that's not happening, and you can just you don't have to have what we have with like Star Wars and all that, where or Lord of the Rings, where we're like, yeah, the original, do not watch the new stuff. So no, you can just point to the original, so because that's the only one that exists for Buffy right now. So yeah. Anyway, with all that, that's all the TV show news that we have. So with all that being said, we'll get into our main topic, which is going to be on A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, or the Nine Kingdoms, according to what Egg says at the end of
Eggs.
Yeah.
I love how it ends with it just saying A Knight of the Nine Kingdoms.
Yes. Are they going to name season 2 that?
I don't know.
We have to see. But yeah, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is surprisingly good. And I say this as a once Game of Thrones fan who absolutely despises the final season.
Oh, yeah.
The final season is one of the worst finales I have ever seen. If I had the YouTube channel Dorathion back when that happened, I would have definitely spent an entire year making a video ripping that season apart. But A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is actually it. I think it's actually pretty excellent. Get it? Because the kid's name is Egg. Get it? Yeah.
He's called Egg because he looked like an egg.
He do look like an egg, yes. Anyway, so yeah, I personally didn't plan on watching this because it was one of those, because of the finale of Game of Thrones. I saw it and I was like, really, another Game of Thrones spinoff? And I was like, ugh. But then I heard a lot of people whose opinions I trust say that it's actually really surprisingly good. And so then I gave it a watch. And yes, I actually really like it. I think it has a fantastic theme to it that we can talk about here about heroism and standing on principles even when you have consequences for it. Because the story centers around a character named Dunk, which is short for Duncan. He is called, he calls himself Sir Duncan the Tall. He is what is called a hedge knight. So apparently hedge knights back at this time, they didn't really have a station anywhere. They just kind of roamed. They were vagabonds, basically. They didn't really have a home. They weren't, submitted to any king or anything like that. They just kind of roamed the places and helped wherever they could. And that's what he is, because he followed a hedge knight named Sir Arlen, and that's where he became that, kind of. Spoiler warning, by the way, because we're going to get to heavy spoilers on this. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend that you do see it, and then come back to this. And the story centers around him going to what's called a tourney. It's a tournament. Yeah. And this tourney is for a teenage princess. It's for her birthday. Because this is back when we had these like very barbaric, watch these people ram into each other and they may kill one another. Yeah. For the nobles' entertainment. So the story starts off, Sir Duncan is trying to make money because Sir Arlen died, and he buries Sir Arlen. And he thinks that he comes to the conclusion that getting into these jousting tournaments would help make him some money. And he is a dude who is characterized as he stands on principles, he stands on honor. He is naive to how dark the world actually is. And this is shown, and the story does a fantastic job at making you really feel bad for him, especially in this world of Game of Thrones, how bleak it is. But he is going into the tournament. Nobody really takes him seriously. He doesn't have the look of like an actual real knight. Mm-hmm. And the idea of a hedge knight is laughable to a lot of people. He gets made fun of because of it. He doesn't really like understand why he's getting made fun of, and he asks multiple people like, "Why are you making fun of me? What exactly have I done? I'm just trying to get into this tournament." The guy who is in charge of signing people up hawks loogies the entire time he's trying to like get signed up. Yeah. Yeah, the story really does a good job of making you feel bad for him, especially gets tense when he goes into the tent of a Baratheon noble. And this Baratheon noble he's just there to party. He really is. Like, he's just there to have a good time. Because these tourneys, all these nobles would come in and they're just there to have a good time. Even in the tournament. And of course you have like the knights that would go in, and their whole thing was to show their honor in these like jousting tournaments and fighting tournaments and all that. And there's a scene in the first episode where he goes into the Baratheon's tent, and the main one Sir Lionel is his name, Lionel Baratheon. He he asks Dunk, he's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you here for? Like, you're here for my head, aren't you? You want my head. You want to kill me. You want to stab me in the back. You want all of this. And Dunk is just sitting there like, what? No.
I'm here for supper.
Yeah, he goes, I'm here for, yeah. And so it builds up this tense moment, and especially for those of us that have seen Game of Thrones, we're like, oh boy, what's about to happen here? And it ends with him being like, well, what the F are you doing in my tent? And Dunk is like, supper? And then Lionel is like,
Fair enough.
that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
They basically become friends. But yeah, the story does I think the story does a really good job at mixing like humor with like dark, serious stuff in a way that none of it really undercuts or undermines each of it. And content warning, there is some gross stuff in this show. Like the beginning shows Dunk just spraying
And that, and then just
crap
absolute definite content warning for the very beginning of episode 2.
But yeah, there is nudity. There's no sex in this first season. There is nudity though, so just beware of that. It also does get violent toward the end of the season as well. So yeah, you got your typical Game of Thrones stuff in this. However, it's not as egregious as Game of Thrones is, though. I can't say anything for House of the Dragon. I haven't seen House of the Dragon. I don't care. I've heard it's mid, so whatever. Anyway.
All we know is that Damon roams aimlessly around Harrenhal.
Why would I watch that? Anyway. So yeah, he goes to this tourney, but on his way to the tourney, he comes across a stable. And at this stable, there is this young kid who calls himself Egg. He is bald-headed. And this is something that the detail when you go and rewatch the show is, the attention to detail when you go to rewatch the show is really good because Egg is very noble sounding in his speech. Like he sounds very much like a noble.
Mm-hmm.
Dunk does not pick up on this because Dunk is pretty naive to this. If he was more perceptive, he would have picked up like, hey, well, who exactly are you? But he doesn't because he doesn't understand this type of stuff. So Egg is he's wanting to be Dunk's squire. He sees that Dunk is a knight and he wants to be a squire. And Dunk rejects him at first, and then he goes off to the tourney, and then he finds Egg at his, horses where...
Yeah, Egg followed him.
Yeah, Egg followed him. And so he decides, you know what, fine, I'll take this kid in. This kid doesn't really look like he eats much. He's probably homeless. So he takes him in, and you basically get kind of like, the first 3 episodes is kind of like the shenanigans of Dunk and Egg as they're trying to build up...
In hindsight, him refusing him as a squire doesn't seem to be about not wanting a squire. It seems to be about him, the twist that he's not actually a knight.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that's a thing that gets revealed, that Dunk is not actually a knight. Now, I think George R. R. Martin leaves up where Sir Arland, if he was ever a knight or not, to speculation.
Yeah.
Because it never gets answered. But what is true is that he never knighted Duncan.
Yeah.
So Duncan is kind of what one would consider stolen valor. Valor, is that how you...
Valor, you said
valor,
it right the first time.
Stolen valor. But there is this thing that, because back then, you had to get knighted in order to be a knight.
Yeah.
You could not walk around calling yourself a knight if you were not knighted by either another knight or a noble themselves. However, there is this theme of Dunk has the heart of an actual knight.
Yeah.
So it makes him endearing in the sense that even though he's technically in this world walking around with stolen valor,
he's doing what
he's a better knight than every single knight he's come across. Yeah.
And that's still that leaves the question that hasn't been answered either.
Yeah.
Did Arlen teach him this, or is he just pure of heart and just came to this conclusion?
Yeah. It's left open to well, it may get revealed, but right now it's speculation. Yeah. So yeah, Sir Duncan isn't really a knight, but he is a better knight, air quotes there, than every single one he's come across. And that's one of the big themes about this. And so, yeah, episodes 1 through 3 is basically them building up to the tournament. And then in episode 2, the Targaryens arrive to participate in this tourney. And they are not well liked by the regular folk because the king on the Iron Throne is a Targaryen, and they have not been nice to the regular people. They have conquered lands.
They consider themselves the next step, I guess.
Yes, yeah, like the evolved enlightened, like the evolved ones, yeah. And so there is a play going on, where it shows like the dragons getting beat by a knight.
Yeah.
In this play, and the regular folk like it because they don't like the Targaryens, and the dragons are a very obvious symbol of the Targaryens. Well, one of the sons of so I have to explain this. So the actual king does not show up. It's the hand of the king who is the prince, and then his brother, and then the prince's name is Baylor, and then his brother Maker, I think is his name. And Maker's sons, which is you have Aegon, you have Aerion, you have Aegon, you have Aerion, and all of them. Aerion comes into the tent as the play is taking place. He doesn't like it, and so he attacks the tent and he attacks the woman. And Dunk has taken a liking to the woman. We find out why later on, that the woman is kind of like a darker skinned woman from another land. He fell in love with another girl who was a dark skinned kind of girl that we see in a flashback in episode 5. And she was brutally murdered by a knight. And then after she was brutally murdered, Sir Arlen comes in and kills that knight. And that's when Dunk basically goes and decides to be a squire by following him. And so he's taken a liking to this girl who is basically head over the play here. But she gets attacked by Aerion, the Targaryen, not really prince, but just noble.
Yeah.
And he attacks Aerion. And due to Dunk just being a regular knight, a hedge knight, or at least perceived being a hedge knight, and Aerion being a noble, this is a, rather huge offense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also where we get the reveal that Egg is Aegon, which is the reason why he calls himself Egg. And that Egg is a Targaryen.
Yeah.
And he lied to Dunk basically the entire time, which Dunk calls him out when he's in the prison cell, and Egg comes in to talk to him. And Egg, legitimately just wanted to be his squire. Egg does not like being a Targaryen, basically. He doesn't care about being a noble. He just wants to be... He came across... He was with his brother at an inn, and he came across Dunk, and he wanted to be his knight, or his squire. That's literally what all he wanted to do. So he wasn't trying to cause any trouble. But now Dunk is in a situation where he could either... And the decision is not up to him. It's up to Aerion, whom he attacked. Dunk is either going to trial by combat Aerion or go to prison or possibly even get executed. Aerion, he's a little word I can't say on here because we're a Christian podcast. He does not want to trial by combat Dunk because his honor, his ego, his honor. He's not going to just fight some hedge knight.
Yeah.
So he then invokes what's called the trial by 7, which is where you get 7. It's basically 14 people, 7 versus 7 on each other. So Dunk now has to find 7 other people that will fight with him in this trial. And Aerion doing this drags both his father and his uncle into this fight because they
both end up opposed to each other.
Yeah. The thing about this too is that I've seen some people say that this is a flaw because why would they have the nobles just fight in this? And I think it's pretty clear that they thought it was going to be a bluff, that Dunk was not going to be able to find 7 people, so therefore it would have been forfeited, and Dunk was just going to be thrown in prison. But Dunk ends up actually getting 7.
No, there's only one flaw with it, I think, and that's, they mentioned it's 7v7, yet the battle ends when Dunk takes down, what's his name, yet it's supposed to be a 7v7.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
They kind of forgot about that, but
Yeah, I'm guessing it was because the main offender was Arian. So if he,
well, the main offender was Dunk.
well, yeah. The main offender was Dunk, and he offended Arian. So Arian.
So I mean, yeah. It just seems kind of weird that it's supposed to be 7v7, but it basically just turned into a 1v1 and then ended that way. But
yeah. So Dunk now has to find 7 people, and he, it does a really good job at making the situation feel dire for him, because he can find a few. He makes a really good friend with a dude named Raymond, who goes to fight with him. Raymond's older brother promises to fight with him, and then turns on him at the last second, and is an absolute piece of garbage. That they offered him more on the other side.
Yeah.
So he had
they offered to make him a noble.
Yeah, they offered to make him a noble. And this is also where we get the reveal that Dunk's brother that he was with at the bar, his drunk brother that he was with at the bar, he lied to Baylor and them that Dunk stole Egg. So this didn't make Dunk look this made Dunk look even worse to them. And he comes into the tent afterwards, and Dunk basically wants to kill him for doing this.
Yeah.
And he tells Dunk, look, just, I'm sorry for doing this to you. I didn't mean to do this to you. Just, when we're out there, just knock me in the head and knock me out, and, we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, so, and this is where we also get the reveal that, and this is going to tie in, I promise I'm going somewhere with this, with the Christian analysis from a Christian perspective. Dunk just simply standing on his principles and being who he is, he actually got people on his side. And he did not know that. People started showing up. He got, the wild Baratheon on his side, who actually ended up liking him and deciding to fight for him. He made a friend with Raymond. One of the guys that actually jousted with Arian, but Arian purposefully stabbed his horse.
Yeah.
Decides to fight with Dunk. And then the biggest reveal is Baylor himself at the end of episode 4, because Dunk is down 1 person. He's got 6, but he's down 1. And if he doesn't get a 7th, then it'll be forfeited and he'll get thrown in prison. So he asked the crowd, what?
He won't be thrown in prison. They're going to cut his leg and hand off.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's what they'll do. So he asked the crowd, does anybody want to fight for me? Does anybody want to fight for actually what's right? And all that. And then you get this guy, it even builds it up.
Music, he stands up, and then he farts.
Yeah. And everybody laughs. And however, the doors then open, and Baylor comes running in, and he's like, I will fight with Dunk. He's basically going to fight his own family.
Yeah.
With Dunk. And Maker even looks at him and says, he attacked my son. And Baylor said he defended the innocent. I'm fighting for him. And then that's when we get to episode 5. And it kind of pulls a bit of an anime where the fight starts and then it goes to a flashback. But I actually think it's done quite well, because usually this type of thing I don't like, because it tends to ruin the pacing of the fighting. However, there is a fantastic transition that adds to the emotion. Yeah. Where it shows why he followed Sir Arlen. And he followed Sir Arlen for such a long time that Sir Arlen did not realize he was following him. But when he finally does realize it, Dunk is so malnourished and tired that he falls over. Yeah. And so Sir Arlen stands over top of him and says, get up. And then it transitions to Dunk, who got knocked over in this trial by 7, and he gets up. And that he has the fight with Arian. And both of them get absolutely
destroyed.
Basically almost on the verge of dying. And then Dunk finally gets on top of him and starts beating him, and he's going to beat him to a pulp. And then Arian basically says, I yield. And then that's when Dunk, because Arian can't really get up, so Dunk drags him to the council, and he tells the council that, and then the whole thing's off. However, Baylor got knocked in the head by his own brother with a mace. And
back of the head.
The back of the head. And what happened was it cracked his skull. And his helmet was holding his skull in place. But when they took his helmet off, it burst open, basically. And he dies. And then that's when we get the final episode. And Dunk is... He's basically doing a 1,000-yard stare while the Baratheon that survived the fight is trying to get some medical
professional
to look at him.
He says that he's dying. It's beyond my expertise.
Yeah.
And then Baratheon says an itchy butthole is beyond your expertise.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when we get a whole conversation where Dunk is like, "Why did the gods favor me and not Baylor?" And the Baratheon basically tells him, he's like, "This ain't favor. This is mockery." So, because it was back during the time where all the superstition was like, if this happened, like if somebody was guilty, then they can do a trial by combat, and if they died, then they were guilty. If they survived, they were innocent, which obviously is not true at all. Like, just because somebody may be lucky or skilled.
Twig arms versus the mountain doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. It doesn't take away that the mountain did everything that he did that Oberyn was saying he was doing and was making him confess to doing. And then, unfortunately, got way too cocky and got grabbed by the mountain.
Yeah.
So all that happens, and then Dunk talks to Maker, and Maker, like, offers him to come to, like, the Iron Throne, like, well, not really the Iron Throne, the Targaryen household, and be a knight for them. And Dunk refuses. He says, like, I'm done with nobles, basically. And he basically refuses to do that and goes off. He goes to go off. But then Egg follows him, and he's like, I want to be with you. And I want to be your squire. And he basically lies to him about what Maker said.
Yeah.
And they go off, and then the whole show ends with Maker being like, "Where's Egg? Yeah, where's Aegon? Where is he gone?" Then it ends with the song. You want to see the song?
Why in the world is 16 tons playing at the end?
Yeah, it doesn't fit the show at all.
Great song. It didn't fit the show.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the whole thing that I want to tie in with the Christian perspective is the fact that Dunk stands on his principles, despite everything being against him, and him basically persevering through it. And him doing so, he ends up gaining, like, friends. He ends up gaining people on his side.
He gained the hand of the king on his side.
Yeah, he gained the hand of the king. I think it's a fantastic example of, for us as Christians especially, it's a fantastic example of, like, allegory to standing on what Christ calls us to do. And even when times get hard, and it looks like everybody is against us, you have no idea who you're actually influencing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you can even go to, like, the grave not knowing it. Like, many of the apostles and many of the early Christians, they were martyred for standing up for Christ. But Christianity spread like wildfire.
Yep.
And the church spread even under the church tends to spread very, very quickly under persecution. Like right now. What? Yeah.
Who was it? I'm trying to remember his name, but he described Christianity as attempt to squeeze water.
Yes, exactly. You try to squeeze it, it goes everywhere.
It goes everywhere rather than being squeezed.
Yes, exactly. Right now, the fastest growing churches are the one in China, and the one in Iran.
Yep.
And these are very hostile places that are hostile to Christianity. Yet they grow, because when people see that you stand on something in the face of extreme adversity, it tends to soften them, and it tends to put them on your side.
Mm-hmm.
It tends to get them to be like, maybe there is actually something to this. And that tends to make it grow. Trying to strong-arm Christianity through government and all that, and having the church and state be in bed with one another tends to backfire. We saw that with the medieval Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I'm personally for a separation of church and state. Now, obviously, I'm not for people dying, people getting persecuted and getting killed. I don't want that to happen. But the church does tend to grow, especially when that does happen. And that, again, that's not to try to have that happen. What that means is that it should give us hope to stand in these times of extreme adversity. Because Dunk just standing on his principles and being who he is in the first 3 episodes of this first season of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, as he goes to talk to people and try to get into this tournament, and nobody takes him seriously, but he still stands on his principles. It softens quite a bit of them, and it puts people on his side when he had no idea that's how it was going to be. Even like you said earlier, even the Hand of the King.
Mm-hmm.
The Hand of the King comes in at the last minute and is fighting for him because he realizes that Dunk isn't who that drunk idiot of a Targaryen said he was, and that Dunk was fighting for the innocent.
Mm-hmm.
And so he decides to fight for him. There's even a scene in episode 1, I think, where Dunk comes across 2 prostitutes. He's trying to get to talk to one of the people that can get him into the tournament. They don't take him seriously, and so they make fun of him. And he actually looks at them and he says, must you mock me? What exactly have I done? And you can see on their faces kind of drop, and they look at him like, I'm sorry, sir, I didn't mean to mock you. We'll see if we can get you an audience with him, with what, the person he was trying to talk to, soon and all that. And so, yeah, it's a fantastic example, and it's kind of like what we talked about with the Vinland Saga episode that we had with Thorfinn in season 2, where he ends up softening a lot of the soldiers and even Canute himself, the soldiers of Canute and Canute himself, by just standing on what he believed in and not be willing to resort to being violent and all that. So standing heroism. There's a really good video from a YouTuber named Master Samwise. He's a Christian as well, and he does analysis on stories from both a Christian and analytical perspective, which is something that I'm going to start trying to do on the Dorathion channel as well. And he has a fantastic video titled On A Night of the 17 Kingdoms, and the thumbnail to it it has Dunk on it, and it says heroism is simple. And the entire thing is that being a hero is rather simple. You stand on your principles that you genuinely think are right, not principles that you're just egotistically following, but what you genuinely think are right. And you stand on those no matter what happens, and you persevere through it. And that's what Dunk does. He stands on what he believes in. He perseveres through it. And there's a lot of really good lines in this show, especially the line when he's trying to get a 7th knight on his side. The guy stands up and farts on him.
Yeah.
And he looks at the crowd and he says, "Is there no true knight among you?" And there's subtext to that, in the sense that Dunk is not actually a knight, but he has the heart of one, and it makes him a better knight, air quotes, than every knight he's come across so far. So, and that's when Baylor comes in and fights with him. So yeah, the big thing that I get from that, processing it as a Christian especially, is that we stand on what we believe in, and we stand for what we genuinely believe is right, from what, God says is right in his word, no matter what happens, even when huge consequences even when it seems like, as the book of Proverbs talk about, when the wicked seem to be prospering, and we seem to be not prospering, we still stand on it, because the number one main thing is Christ and what Christ did for us on the cross, and the promises that we have for when we die and go to heaven, and when the end of this age happens and the new heavens, new earth come in, we have that to hope for, that we stand, that helps us to face adversity like that. In doing so, it influences other people in the same way that Dunk influences people as he stands on his principles. So yeah, that's what I get on that. And yeah, it's a very uplifting show within Game of Thrones. It's a very uplifting story within it, because anybody that has seen Game of Thrones, it's a very bleak story that doesn't really have any uplifting characters except for Ned Stark, who gets killed off in season 1. Jon Snow seemed like he was going to be an uplifting character, but they shite all over him in the final season. And anyway, I'll go off on a rant if I talk about that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's also a very like complete story and just in this first season, because like it's kind of like it's kind of like Arcane season 1 in the sense of, even if a really awful second season comes out, this first season is a thematically complete season. Like the themes in it go in like a full circle, to where you can see it as its own story and you can enjoy it for what it is. And yeah, I highly recommend it because it's very efficient at telling its story. There's like no wasted scene, no wasted line of dialogue. It packs a whole lot of stuff in just a short amount of time, and tells a very tightly written story in a very impressive way, in my opinion, that I was actually thoroughly pleased with, especially within Game of Thrones. And I hope that season 2 will be good, but I'm not crossing my fingers because I did that for many a show now.
Yeah.
So, but even if season 2 sucks and other seasons beyond that suck, this first season is great, and I highly recommend it. So, yeah. Anyway, what do y'all think? Let us know y'all's thoughts in the comments down below. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you really like what we do and want to support us out more, hit that subscribe button. It'll help us out greatly. Thank y'all for listening or watching. We love y'all. God bless y'all. And we will see you all next time. Peace.